Hello, guys. And we got to talk about the fact that altcoins are pumping. Bitcoin dominance has actually gone down a little bit in the last couple of days, and why you may not actually have that much of a chance to switch from Bitcoin to altcoins. You might not be able to wait a couple of months now. Now, the prevailing wisdom is Bitcoin always pumps first, and then altcoins follow, and you have a few weeks or months at least to switch from the two. Now, that's usually been right. But this time, right now, altcoins are actually pumping, and they're pumping a little bit more than Bitcoin, especially some of the coins. Caspa's up, IMX is up. But if you just look at the overall chart on Live Coin Watch, you can see Bitcoin's up 1%, and most of the altcoins are up more than 1%. If you look at the course of the last week, altcoins have generally gone up more than Bitcoin. Lido is another one that's actually doing very, very well. And the percentage gains are trumping Bitcoin right now. Now, usually, we say we haven't really entered the bull market yet, or the true bull market yet, so altcoins aren't pumping as much. And you expect there to be a delay, and sometimes there still is, but what we're seeing right now is like when Bitcoin pumps, altcoins react within a few hours or within a few days. And there's a lot of developments that have actually gone into that, despite the fact that a lot of altcoins don't really have clarity right now. Because the Coinbase case has not been dismissed or has not actually been, resolved. I do think there are a couple of things that are definitely working in the alt's favor at this point over Bitcoin. I mean, a lot of the lawsuit stuff, and with the Ripple lawsuit stuff especially, right now the judge has determined that the SEC can't sue for egregious amounts unless they can actually prove damages. Now, unless the SEC is trying to go for, hey, customers were damaged when we sued Ripple and their price went down, it's not going to have too much luck. Because realistically, while XRP price hasn't actually gone up like the other coins, it really hasn't gone down since the SEC sued Ripple. Remember, coins do rise like every cycle, every 4 years. The SEC suing Ripple, yes, it has prevented them from rising too much. I think the market cap of Ripple was high enough where it wouldn't rise all that much anyways. But the thing is the SEC suing them may have prevented them from rising too much. But here's the thing, the SEC suing them did not make them completely tank from the point where they sued them. Yes, they did make them make the price go in half temporarily. At that point though, the price of XRP was coming down anyways from the flare pump, because that was right after the pump up for the flare drop off point. So it was coming down anyways at that point, and the SEC really accelerated that price coming down. But since then, the overall crypto market has increased massively in market cap, and XRP's market cap and price has kind of followed that general trend, although not as much as other coins. So the thing is the SEC has to prove somehow that they cost their customers a loss, which is not true because they did not actually cause their customers any kind of loss. And, that's going to be something that's going to be very, very difficult for the SEC to explain and for the SEC to deal with. And I don't think that's something that the SEC really wants to deal with at this point. And they might have to deal with it if they want disgorgements from Ripple. Now, that's the reason why that's important to other lawsuits, because I think despite, some of the judges saying this applies only to Ripple, it generally does set a precedent for all the other lawsuits. That's why the SEC was so desperate to actually get it appealed before the Coinbase ruling came down, and they were unsuccessful in doing that. Because other judges are going to look at the decision and say according to the decision, it looks like that you can't sue us, you can't sue these other companies for money unless you can actually, if you can't prove damages. And the thing is, with something like FTX, you can easily prove damages. And with Terra Luna, you probably can prove damages as well. But with a lot of these other coins, if you look at Cardano or you look at VeChain or something, realistically, in the last couple of years, ever since, whenever the SEC wanted to sue these coins, or if you look at the pattern of these coins, they have generally been going up year after year. Well, like there's certain years where they're down, of course, but they've generally been going up over the 4-year cycles. So it's going to be very, very difficult for the SEC to prove any real damages to these coins. And if they can't prove any real damage to these coins, there's not going to be too much disgorgements. And the thing is, like, you have to look at when institutional investors actually bought in, because remember, the only coins that are really securities are the ones that institutional investors bought. And I think that's where it's actually headed. I do think Coinbase has a very good chance of getting the case dismissed. And if that happens, then secondary markets are out of the question. And only those coins that on ICOs or that were sold directly, not through an intermediary, but directly to big institutions would actually be considered as securities. And so you would have to look at when institutions bought these coins. Did the coin actually go up or go down after that point? And if the coin went up after that point, the SEC can't sue for damages. Now, institutions are generally pretty smart. They do tend to buy closer to the bottom than retail, obviously, because they have more information than we do, and they do wait for prices to be fairly low before they bought. So, like, only a very, very tiny portion of their sales are going to be liable for damages. And that, I think, will resonate throughout the entire industry. So the SEC is losing big on this. And realistically, like with the Terra Luna lawsuit right now, they can't even prove that Do Kwon is guilty of selling securities. So I don't really think they're going to have too much luck of proving anyone else is selling securities. And that's, I think, like the entire crypto market is actually looking at these SEC developments and the lawsuit developments, and they're like, hey, these guys aren't that scary right now. And they're basically losing lawsuits against all of us. And since they're losing lawsuits against all of us, people feel safer in buying these altcoins. So the thing is, like, I'm glad I'm mostly in the altcoin market. I have like a little bit of Bitcoin, but I don't really have that much Bitcoin. But I feel pretty confident that Bitcoin's like dominance is basically cresting right now and will actually start to go down. Barring some kind of giant black swan event, I think Bitcoin's market cap is pretty much crusted. Not market cap, dominance is crested. And you're looking at maybe like 54, 55% dominance as basically a top for Bitcoin right now. Because a lot of Bitcoin's advantages this time around were that Bitcoin has had clarity for a long time, and people were afraid that altcoin market was going to get destroyed in the United States. But the longer these SEC cases drag on, the less likely that actually seems. It seems like the SEC is going to lose every single one of them at this point. And because of that, I think the altcoin markets have actually grown a spine, and now they actually might be catching up to the Bitcoin market. So the Bitcoin maxis might have a little bit of trouble dealing with this. Yes, they've been happy that like they've been slowly crawling up from 50 to 55%. It's taken them like a year or two to do so. But I think at this point, like it's probably going to start to go back down. Now, Ethereum aside, because there's problems with Ethereum with Joseph Lubin and all that stuff and consensus. And obviously, like, with JP Morgan saying they were disappointed in Ethereum because they were afraid of its centralization, that might cause the altcoin dominance to go down a little bit because the altcoin dominance obviously is buried pretty deeply within Ethereum. But I do think other coins will actually make up for it. And I don't think Ethereum's troubles are actually going to last forever. And a lot of the L2s will definitely come up to actually replace some of that Ethereum market cap. Plus, like a lot of new coins are going to start to come up. Like some of the meme coins will start eating because I do think some of the meme coins are going to start pumping. You should look at Etherscan if you're actually interested in meme coins. Like I have Doge because Doge is like the primary meme coin, and I have Floki Inu because someone donated me a couple $100 of Floki Inu. And I think those can actually eat up some of the market cap for Bitcoin as well. So the thing is, like with Bitcoin dominance, I do think it actually has crested at this point, or is very, very close to cresting. I think it's going to be about 55% this time. And because of all these lawsuits just basically coming in, basically smacking the SEC in the face, like the most recent loss in the XRP lawsuit where the judge actually said, hey, you have to prove actual damages to institutional investors before you actually sue for disgorgements. I think that's going to limit the amount the SEC is going to be able to sue crypto for. And also, like, it's going to really hamper their ability to, like, threaten the crypto market into oblivion because a lot of their threats are actually coming up empty. Now, like, you could say this is one isolated case for one crypto, but that's not really how the industry sees it. That's not how, and most importantly, that's not how the SEC sees it. They're going to be a lot more careful in like what coins they sue and how they sue them, because the more cases it loses, the worse it looks on them and the less credibility the SEC actually has. And they're seeing that they're not going to win these cases very often. So to me, this is very, very good news for the crypto industry as a whole. And this is extremely good news for altcoins. Now, Bitcoin's not really going to go down in price or anything. It's still going to go up. But I think at this point, the altcoins will react pretty much immediately. And unless there's a massive, massive dump, which I highly doubt there will be, you're going to see the dominance slowly creep down with Bitcoin and other altcoins start to catch up. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.